Hey, what is going on, bros? My bro here. Oh, no, I have my mask on. Hold on. There we go. Hey, what's going on, bros? My bro here, and the stuff behind me will all make sense in a minute. All right. Well, first off, This is my Minecraft skin. I don't think I've showed it off much, but I do have a pancake cape, and this is my bro in Minecraft universe. Yes. Maybe a few of you a while back remember a Star Wars world I built, and what ended up happening is, if you remember, almost all my data got corrupted on my other account, so I was not able to use that for anything, including my Minecraft world. So I lost all my progress on the Minecraft world. So what I decided to do was come back new and improved, and I rebuilt. I didn't rebuild anything yet, actually. I started from scratch. So in this wall right here, this is going to be the evolutions of the kind of all the stuff. So right now, this is where I'm at right now, which is finishing all the land vehicles for both the Republic, Rebels, and Resistance, and the Separatist, First Order, and Imperial Army. Now, there's two spaces in between, and then right here will be once I've finished all the basic fighters, and then this last section will all be for capital ships. So first off, I started with a village. There was actually a village right next to where I spawned, which is like right about there. And so I decided to take this entire village and change it all up. This is kind of the best part of what I've done so far, like one of my favorite things I did. So right here, you know, I built this house completely from scratch. You know, it's kind of just the living quarters of my bro's house, I guess. It's got a dungeon for interrogations and all that. It's got a tree with scaffolding on it, so you can go up and see the battlefield from over here. And he's got his own land speeder. This is Luke's land speeder from episode 5. I mean, not episode 5, episode 4. And I obviously did it in my bro's light blue and put it on scaffolding, so it's kind of just like idle there, you know. And I took the entire village and I replaced all the oak wood, cobblestone, and oak planks and all that. I replaced it all with jungle stuff, so even inside the houses, it's all jungle themed. We have all these jungle wood, jungle stone brick. I even made the clay darker here, which was a feat. All the moss that you see is where moss was originally on cobblestone. All that village, I planted each tree, you know, they grew out. All the churches were insanely hard to do. This is one of the last bits right there. I forgot to do that, I'm noticing that. And then here is all the materials that you see I used. It was a lot of items, a lot. So, and then this wall over here, like I mentioned before, over here, if we look on the wall, there's one bit that is off the map that you guys can see right there, and that's at this bottom bit right here. This is because these are kind of the ships that are meant to go into the village. I'm gonna do these when I do the starfighters, because we have some speeder bikes from the Coruscant era. We have the one that Anakin used in episode 2 and Bail Organa used in episode 3. We have a swoop bike from the expanded universe, so it's kind of just like a racing bike. We have twin pod cloud cars here. These were going to go up in the sky, so that's why it makes sense why I'm going to play them with the starfighters. And we also have another version of Luke's land speeder. This one I'll just throw a couple of them. I recognized in the episode. There was episode 4. There was a couple of these around. The red color was unique to Luke's though. So let's move over to the actual Star Wars build section. Now, like I mentioned, I've only done the ground vehicles. So this is every ground vehicle, and I've obviously duplicated a lot of them. So we start here. This is kind of base camp I set up for, you know, my bro's troops and all that. It's got fencing to keep tents up. It's got cyan beds and all that. It's got a fire pit with smoke effects coming from the campfires underneath the ground. There's a total of 4 beds surrounded by these the black stone fences and all that. We also have the first bug speeder, and now this one's a idle one, so it doesn't have the underbits. I mean, normal bug speeder, but you can still get on top of it, and it still basically looks normal except for the underneath section. We also have the tank here. This one is an unloading one. You see it's got a tent there. It's got a couple barrels that are over there for storage. It's got the ender chest, and it's got the elytra with the pancakes on it. So let's take that off and throw it on. There it is. Barrels I actually use for storage of literally every item I have here. If it's a building item, it's probably in one of these barrels somewhere. These are all the maps from the things. all that. And even over here, these barrels I'll also use for it here and there. We also have a cyan bed on top for the cyan sleeping bags over there, which just made sense. Now, the treads on the bottom are just puzzle, I think is how you say it. And I just let them behind all the vehicles and all that, and I pathed out floating vehicles. So, for instance, if we take up this heavy M2 tank, we noticed that under here I couldn't get them. But behind it, we have this path effect trying to show like where it's been. The only ones that don't have them is my most recent, which are the ATTEs. They don't have treks yet, but everything else does. PTs, ATRTs, another heavy tank. These standard issue Republic tanks, they got treads behind them, paths behind them. So in total, right now, we have we have 3 of these big old tanks right here. These are Republic tanks from a game, an expanded universe. Can't remember the exact name right now, but they have my bro's blue color, which is why a lot of these are light blue. It's for my bro. We have these light tanks. They are also from the expanded universe Rebels. There was 3 technically in the story, but now I blew up TNT right here and put smoke and fire with netherrack on it there, and I just thought, might as well. And I put bits from these tanks. If you recognize right here, we have the stair and the slab right here. This is right here on the build right here. Yep, right here. And I just did that, and I thought that was cool. So, yep. And you can even see the path that was leading behind. We have bulk speeders. I think we have a total of 5 bulk speeders? Or 4? I think we have 4. We have 1 right there, 1 right there, 1 right there, and then 1 idle. You can see now we also have the other side of it. It's just a simple part that I left off the idle one. ATRTs, I believe we have 4 of these. We have 1 right here, there, and there. No, we got 3. No, we got 4 right there. Another kind of, I think, expanded universe. I could be wrong though. These are ATOPs. They're kind of transport units with light armor, you know. I built 3 of these for each side actually, because it does mention that it was used both by the Republic and then later the Empire, but I never saw these in any of the films. I could be wrong. Maybe even Clone Wars, but don't know. So I just built them for both sides because I had no clue. So we have 3 of them here, and that one's kind of like a command shuttle. It's got the blue patches. As I mentioned, we have tanks. We have this heavy tank. I have 2 of them. I have 1 there and 1 there. We also have the light version of it, which is 1 there and 1 over there. ATPTs, as I mentioned, we have 3 of these. We have 1 right there, 1 right there, and 1 right there. These are very interesting to build. Very fun. ATTEs are the ones I just finished right before I started recording, like right then. And we have 3 of these. We have 1 right here, 1 right here, and 1 right here. They came with red, but I obviously blue, mine bro, all that, yes. I think that's all for the Republic side. And if you notice, there's explosions all around the place, you know, to signify like blasts from heavy tanks like the AT-ATs or the Hailfire droids, you know, hitting targets and all that. Speaking of the big old Imperial things, in here, there's less vehicles, but we have heavier armor. We have 2 giant AT-ATs. Now, I built 2 of them, and, you know, they're pretty cool looking. I originally had them with gray glass, but I switched out for this really sleek looking red. And if you notice in there, I'm not going to go into it because I don't got any materials. But if you notice, we have a speed bike in there. We'll get to those in a minute. And we have 1 in there, and then when we come over to the other one, we have 2 in here with control panels even. So these were very cool to build. They were very fun, very interesting, big old things. We have to contrast that we have the ATST chicken walkers. I have 2 of these small ones. They go right next to them, and they kind of fit in scale to each other, which is pretty nice. And then we get over here, we got a big old boy. This is a 2:1 scale version of it. Took a while to build, and it's not too bad. It's just I don't feel like I'm gonna build anymore because it kind of breaks the scale. You know, it's almost as big as an AT-AT, which is not canon. But now we come over to the speed bikes, and we have 4 currently in commission. This is the only one I haven't changed, so you can see how it was originally built. We had punched in fence right there, but now we have these kind of iron bars. I thought these looked better because if you're sitting on it, you're gonna pull forward, not gonna, you know, be already holding on to them right in the top here. So I thought that looked a little better. As I mentioned, we have 4 in use right now, and then we obviously have the 2 that I showed off in the AT-ATs. All of them showing off the new design except for that one, and over there. But I'll get to those in a minute. Next off, we got the Hailfire droids. One of only 2 actual droid builds that I was able to find off the YouTube channel, which I'll give credit to in a minute. You know, I used nether brick, the red nether brick. I thought it looked better than the regular nether brick. And yeah, it's pretty nice. I built 4 of them, and they are also leaving behind some treads, and obviously the walkers are leaving behind that. I built 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And then we have the only levitating actual land vehicle, which is the AAT droid tanks. Now these was so fun to build. I used sandstone for these ones, and I thought it just, you know, made sense. Because they look like in episode 1, they look like they made of sandstone. And yeah, it was a very fun one. You know, very small. And so that's it. And then obviously, like I mentioned, we have ATOPs using the Empire kind of stuff. So, all that right here. There we go, those 3. As I mentioned before, there was a couple other builds off to the sides. For instance, we have the original kind of version of the speeder, the scout bike, whatever it's called. We have the original one that was using the kind of colors from Return of the Jedi. You know, this redder color. I built this, and I was just like, yeah, maybe I want a snow one, and I built one. You can see the contrast right there. I think the snow one looks a lot better than this one in the regular texture pack. And I think that might finish it off. I do believe it finishes it off. Obviously, we have more explosions, and one explosion blew off the tracks of a couple of them. Chicken walker right there, and then we have a big old one right there. So that is it for the showcase. This took so long, and this is only the first half. I would say, let me count how many tutorials that would be right now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hold on. Numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think for the Republic side. If I remember correctly, that's 7. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 here. 6 here because these are dragged over from that one, so I did those in one tutorial. Everything else is custom made, but the person who I'm using this is the same person as last time, Lord Dark on YouTube. He does tutorials for several Minecraft builds. He stopped Minecraft Star Wars a long time ago, but his tutorials are still very helpful and very entertaining. There is some big old ships that are going to be seen last, but we'll get to those when we get to those. For now, these are the ones I built. I will put a link to his channel in the description once this video goes fully live. And yeah, so that is it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next stream and or video. Bye bye.